Good morning, fellow humans. Today is Saturday, August 13th, and this is the 1 year anniversary of a special occasion, a chance meeting at a goofball's house to watch some other nutcases talk about something that was absurd. But that's okay. This is the 1 year anniversary of that Saturday evening. So, yeah, so I got that going for me. Well, okay, this is Saturday again, the 13th of December, 2025. It's about 6 o'clock in the morning. We are here in wonderful Pahrump or Pahrump, Kentucky, which we're now going to call the Nevada Frontier. One of the last frontiers in the world, 60 minutes from Sin City, a couple hours from Death Valley, a couple hours from Area 51, hard scrabble territory, Wild West. People want their freedom, and they want to be free of freeness. Okay, right. So they're kind of like sharp-elbowed, pistol packing, rootin' tootin' people. You can always tell somebody from Pahrump. You just can't tell them very much. That's the thing. That's my way. Okay, cool. And we support that. We are here. And in the Nevada frontier, we're going to spread that throughout the world. Cool. All right. But here we are. Today is Saturday. That means it's G.school. We focus on our place heading and the trajectory we're on heading that direction. Footnote. I've got 2 more chapters done in the book. Volume 2, 2 more chapters done, about 30,000 words. It will get cut down in editing to about 6. Well, not really, but there we go. So happy about that. The other book, Volume 1, should be arriving any day. Hopefully it'll be here today. And let's focus on what is our theme of today. Our theme of today is Hetsa, Petsa. Hetsa, Petsa. What? Where are we going? Okay. Hetsa, Petsa, Hetsa, Petsa, Hetsa, Petsa. Hetsa, Petsa. Hetsa, Petsa. No, it'd be like that. Hetsa, Petsa. Okay. Hetsa, Petsa. That's our theme for today. Before we get into that, let's look at advice from an 80-year-old. We will all be there one day. We'll figure out what our own advice is to people. Make it a habit to do nice things for people who will never find out. How about that? How about that as a habit? I would say that is a good habit. Do things. It's especially good because we always want credit. We've got this conditioning in us, this thing of we need to get credit. We don't want to. If we don't get credit, people will think we didn't do it. Yeah, right. They'll go around saying that SOB, Bevilacqua, that son of a bitch, beep. That son of a beep. He's only in it for one reason. I don't know what it is, but it ain't good. It ain't good. Okay, so make it a habit to do nice things for people who will never know. Right. But who will know? You'll know. Right. Okay. How about Seth Godin? Where did kiwi come from? And shiitake mushrooms, spaghetti squash, ginger, and even packaged tofu. In the 1960s, the culture changed, and so did the supermarket. Small markets with 50 or 60 kinds of fruit and vegetables transformed into supermarkets carrying hundreds of varieties. Cooking shows and cookbooks raced to teach home cooks about the new, interesting, and exotic. And Frida Kaplan showed up to orchestrate a connection between a desire for novelty and unknown international foods. Frida didn't invent the kiwi, but she named it, told a story about it, and brought it to the merchants who needed it. She saw that markets in flux often need narrators. The metaphor is something we see all the time. When markets and culture change, there's room for an agent of change to bring leverage and innovation to the world. The extraordinary thing about Frida's was the scale of it. One person in the right place, the right moment, and the right attitude transformed the diet of millions of people. Is there any doubt that right now we're seeing a similar shift in the culture all around us? Go find a kiwi! Go find a kiwi! You can see the documentary here. Okay, cool. Did not know that. Like probably most people, I would have thought the kiwi was, the name kiwi went back since the penal colonies in Australia. All right. Alrighty then. Okay. How about today's TED Talk is Joe Bolte Taylor, Harvard person. Harvard. What did they say about parking your car in the Harvard yard? Don't park your car in the Harvard yard. I remember a guy talking about getting scrawed. And I asked, was that the future perfect tense of the word? He said, no, it's a fish. Okay. Got it. Okay, Jill Bolte Taylor, stroke of insight. So Jill Bolte Taylor was a Harvard brain scientist who one morning she woke up, she had a stroke, and it was over a 4-hour period where she was able to observe, call for help, do all kinds of things as her brain, her left hemisphere was flickering in and out of working as the blood was flowing, destroying neurons. That would shut off, and she would be experiencing reality only through her right hemisphere until her left hemisphere was able to click back on temporarily and then go off. Because if you drench a neuron in blood, it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. That SOB neuron, it's got to be blood proof. Okay, so, and what she came away with when she discovered, she woke up after being in the ambulance, feeling like a little balloon with the last bit of air. She was about to transition, just that last of air, and then she woke up. Several hours later, spent 10 years going through physical therapy type of stuff, relearning stuff, demonstrating the plasticity of the brain and also the kind of treatment you get if you're a Harvard brain scientist. They pull out all stops. So, but she's a very important person in several areas. One being a brain scientist who had a stroke and could talk about understand what was going on, talk about it later, kind of like Viktor Frankl with logotherapy after living in death camps. Okay, so Jill Bolte Taylor observed that when the difference between the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere from the inside, what it's like. And she describes the right hemisphere as all of the sensations of the universe flowing in through us, and we are all united as one. We are not different. So when she's propped up against the shower, her arm is up against the wall of the shower, she has a hard time distinguishing the pixels of her hand from the pixels of the shower wall, and has a sense that we are all one. When her left hemisphere kicked in, she came down to I am me. I am me, and the things I need to do. I am separate. Right hemisphere, we're all interconnected. Left hemisphere, I am me. I am separate from you. I need to get bananas tonight. And her point, in fairness, the point of her TED Talk was that we should step into that collective we, into the right side of our hemisphere. We should do that because the world will be a better place. However, unfortunately, and I'm probably one of the few people who can say this because I've watched it virtually once a month for the last 14 years, watched parts of it, that she doesn't say how to do it. Oops. And she doesn't say whether she still can. Oopsie. Bonk. So, yeah, so our purpose is once again helping answer the two questions: who am I and why do I behave the way I do? And this is a very good from the understanding how the brain works, kind of like Sebastian's song talking about neurons and showing neurons. This is, she takes the brain, actual brain, and shows how there are two hemispheres that are connected at the bottom. It's just two things that are connected, kind of like with a hinge at the bottom, the corpus callosum, with 300 million axon fibers that connect the two. So they're communicating back and forth, except when one goes off, when the left hemisphere goes off and you're left only with the right, and then it kicks in. So our purpose is to answer the two questions: who am I and why do I behave the way I do? So from this, we get a good understanding of what the right hemisphere does, what the left hemisphere does, how they have different purposes. Yeah, right. And again, our purpose is, if I know who I am and why I behave the way I do, then I can dial in who I need to be right now. Okay. So let's talk for a second about the show. The team is coming together. Hopefully, maybe we pray for it. So hopefully we got a new big addition yesterday to add to the team. The team shall remain nameless. You know who you are. You know who the other people are. But I feel compelled that we're going to have a bigger splash of here is the team and here's what we're doing. And I have one word. One word for you. Plastic. No, that's not the word. That's the word from The Godfather. The word I have is chemistry. Chemistry. So the viewer out there's wondering what is going on a chemistry level. Again, what are we trying to do? Neuroscience. Neuroscience. We want the show to be remarkable, which means we want people to talk about it. Right. So it's going to be good. Okay. Boom. Bingo, bango, bongo. Bonk. Oh, how's that? Bingo, bango. Oh, the days of wine and roses, right? Andy Williams song I remember as a kid. Okay, let's talk about Hetsa, Petsa. Hetsa, Petsa, everyone. It's too bad Maticus von Atticus isn't on the call, on the video today, because he, once again, did a good job on Monday. Hetsa, Petsa is the name of the AI, the indigent defendant AI, that 80% of people who go to court have a public defender who is improperly prepared. AI will be the solution to that problem. One day, we want to be the people who are at the bleeding edge of that. And we have to say, Maticus von Atticus, Untersergeant Untersergeant Ordinaire did a great job. He went with the program. Unfortunately, the judge believed the story, the prosecution's story, that he gave consent to search his car. So, Hetsa Petsa. What do you think of the name Hetsa Petsa? So here's what I found. Educated people who feel they're here think it is condescending. It doesn't, I'm an important person. This is a significant thing. We need a name that is significant. That's how highfalutin, sophisticated, high IQ people who are involved in the project think of it. This is my creation. You're demeaning it with a name like that. It's kind of like the question of selling dog food. And it's kind of an interesting thing in that the dogs don't care about the packaging of the food. They don't care about the price of the food. They don't care about the nutritional content of the food, how many nutrients are in. They don't care about that. In other words, all of the things the dog owner cares about, the dog doesn't care about. The dog owner cares about the price, the packaging, the nutritiousness. But at the end of the day, what does it come down to? It comes down to, will the dogs eat the dog food? So what is the focus? Honoring ourselves, creating a great statue to ourselves. Here's what I have created. And when we have press releases and we have interviews and we have books and we have documentaries written about us, do we want to have it so that the thing we're identified with is highfalutin to the standard I have in my mind? Or do we want the dogs to eat the dog food? Do we want it to be something the people will want, that the people can actually use? You know, if you're a low IQ, low educated person, and we say, we've got this really sophisticated thing for you, but don't worry, you can do it, versus we got this nice, friendly sounding thing. It's kind of like, makes me think about these prescription drugs, right? They have a clever sounding name, and then in parentheses underneath it, you see what the actual name is, which is something not pronounceable. Why do they do that? Why do they do that? Because we're humans and we're influenced by our mindset. And if you want me to represent myself, I got to feel that I can. Because if I feel I can't, it's not going to work. I have to believe that I can. And so Hetsa Petsa is a friendly sounding, positive sounding name. Hetsa Petsa, everyone. Hetsa Petsa. Oh yeah, that's easy. Yeah, only a moron can't do it. Any cadwallader can use Hetsa Petsa. But if the name is too highfalutin, too technical, it's like, I don't know. I'm not that smart. But what do? We had a 36-year-old autistic guy go through the script. He just read the script. He stuck with the script. And yes, he did have to wiggle around a little bit because they didn't follow the procedure. The court didn't follow the typical procedure. So, all right, time is about up. Good day. Shivas and Shalom. Let's focus on, let's go out. Let's start with the belief. Okay, this is G.school. So let's start with the belief of what Jesus said. Repent and believe in the good news. The kingdom of heaven is in our midst. It is within you. So today, let's go out and nurture that presence with the power and audacity to imagine better versions of ourselves and our community, and to love God with all of our heart and mind and soul, to love one another as Jesus loved us, and to love ourselves unconditionally. Let's do that. Let's think about and do something for the people out at the margins, the people whose burdens are more than they can bear, who, if they were flames, we'd have to stay far back because we'd get singed by them. Let's think about those people. Let's go out, do something, go out to the margins so the margins disappear. But remembering, we don't go to the margins to help the people, to change the people at the margins. We go to the margins so the people change us. And that's all I have to say about that. Oops. What? It's not working? Yeah, okay. Hasta la vista, baby. Shiva